Have you ever heard me laugh so easily? It's 'cause I'm growing up slowly. Oh, Victoria. Oh, Victoria. Oh, Victoria.
So we're here to interview Maria Mena, the famous singer from Norway. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's almost 2 years now since you've been in Holland. What have you done in the past 2 years?
I've just in the beginning of that, I finished playing live and promoting, and once we felt like it was a very natural end to that, I decided to take a year off. And what a year off is, it's people keep asking, but what did you do? I'm like, I did nothing. You saw what I did on. If you guys were on Twitter, you saw that I was just living. I had my relationships to take care of, my relationship with my family and my friends and my boyfriend, and I just lived. It was very, very, very comfortable. It's difficult to be back now because I'm so used to being home. Knowing that I can't actually do both at the same time is kind of like, it's an adjustment, but it feels really good to be back here.
So after that 1 year of doing completely nothing, you started to write the new album?
Yeah, I think I wrote Victoria and Homeless extremely early on. I don't even think I was done. I think those were like the first 2 songs that I wrote. And then I took a break from writing as well. I needed to find a direction. I knew I wanted this album to be about forgiveness in a way. I wanted it to be a step further from being the angry Maria on Cause and Effect, because I didn't feel angry anymore. But to forgive, you need, to write about forgiveness, you kind of need to do that as well. At least that's what I mean, or I think. So that's what I did. Spent some time learning how to forgive.
So you dealt with the cause from the past.
Yes, but in a
album, Cause and Effect.
Yeah, but in a forgiving manner. I dealt with it on Cause and Effect as well, but that was like the anger of it.
the anger of it. And what exactly was the inspiration to write Victoria?
The inspiration were certain main challenges that kind of happened during this year, and how I dealt with it. I dealt with it in such a different way than I would have 2 years, 3 years ago, that I felt like I wanted to get to know this new person. I didn't really know her. So basically what I do on this record, it's a very dark record, and you'll hear that once you get it. It's a very, very dark record, sound-wise. But in the lyrics, you get a sense of hope. And I think that's a little bit different from the other albums.
Okay. And I've heard you say before that you named the album Victoria after your middle name. Mm-hmm.
But also this new person that I felt like,
the calmer person within. Does that calm person reflect in the album?
Yeah, I think it does. I think this calmness comes out in the little lights in each song that you see. You see that there's this sense of it is what it is, and I'm fine with it, and yeah, I think so. But then again, that's my take on it. I know that once it's out on Friday, people will have their own stories to put into that. This is not a hit album. It's not full of hits. It's an album. It's something to listen to.
Yeah, so we listen to your singles and we hear positive songs. So you say it's about forgiveness. Do the singles represent the rest of your album?
No, not at all. Basically, the singles are the most, except for Homeless, they're the most light songs that are on the record. The first song on the record is Victoria, but then you go into Homeless and The Art of Forgiveness and Habits, and those are they're heavy and they're dark. And I actually continue on that dark path. There are songs about, I don't want to tell you what they're about. We'll talk later, and I'll ask you what you think they're about.
In November.
In November.
Yes. So we can expect an alternative Maria, or do you think that was an effect?
Yeah, you know, we actually worked a little bit on the production side of it. This is not like the acoustic guitar simple album. We've done, we've worked with kind of programmed sounds, and I like that. That was what I felt like on this album. I think I got that out, and I think that it creates this dramatic atmosphere. But I will go back to the simple stuff. I just needed to lie the dramatics of what I felt like. Yeah.
And what role does your family and your fiancé Ivan or your friends have on the album? Do you still have stories to tell, which you tell by means of the album?
To them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. This is also kind of the first record where I actually kept it to myself. Although I do write in the same house as my fiancé, we are very separate when it comes to that. He writes as well, so he sits in a different room. And I kept this record to myself a little bit. I usually play stuff for people, but I was afraid that people wouldn't get it. So instead of, and you are insecure in the recording phase of everything, so I didn't want to hear people's opinions. I just wanted to create the album I want to create, and then leave that as it is. So I've played it for them now, and they think it's dramatic. I know they like it, but yeah. We'll see. I like it though, I do, but you'll never know.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so we've heard that you worked with Mats Langer, a singer-songwriter from Denmark. Why did you collaborate with him, and what are the results?
The results is a song called Habits. I wrote it and I sang the whole song up until like a week before the record was released. Or not released, but finished. I had long thought that his voice was very, very beautiful, and I wanted... When you hear the song, you can kind of tell why I wanted a man's perspective and a man's voice on that song. It's a story it's a long song, and it goes very quietly. And there's two sides of the story almost. And I needed him to underlie that. It's Many's favorite song on the record. A lot of people like that song. So you might like it too.
We'll see. And can you tell what it is about?
Yeah, Habits is about being afraid of commitment and happiness, and about about having that, but wanting to go back to your old ways because that's the safest. If you know what I mean. Some people are happiest when they're miserable, unfortunately.
When we go back to what you just said, you haven't shared, or you didn't share a lot of what you wrote until you were ready to go to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also, like always, very honest in your songs, and that's something everybody knows. But being honest puts you in a very vulnerable position. So how did you feel when you had to sing those honest songs for the first time?
Actually, one of the first times that I did perform Homeless, especially Homeless, was yesterday. And it was here in Holland, and I felt vulnerable. It was so weird. I think that once the album's out, I'll feel less vulnerable because I know people have heard everything and it's just out there. There's nothing I can do about that. I don't know. I like the feeling though. There's this honest exhibitionist in me, if you know what I mean. Like I want to expose stuff that makes me feel vulnerable, because once I expose it and people say, well, I feel the same way, it makes me feel safe and normal that I'm not the only one that feel that way. So in a sense, I need you guys, you know? Like it means a lot to me when I'm on stage and that's why I'm so honest as well in my lyrics, because it feels even better than if I would just write a pop song about nothing. I can do that, it's fine, but I want it to be about something, because the feeling I get when someone says that means a lot to me, that song means a lot to us, is even better.
And how do you feel when you have to like not perform, but before you have to perform, so you have to tell it to Martin Joly?
Yeah.
Or when you have to say to your fiance or your friends, look, this song I wrote?
Well, I feel proud. I usually feel proud, and you get this songwriting high. So, unless it's like I don't, they know me so well. Like there's nothing that they don't know. I don't have any of those. I've never had the moment where I'm like, so listen. Well, with Martin, it probably is like this. But with everyone else, it's not like, so listen, here's the thing. This is something I did. It's not like that. They know. Martin, maybe sometimes I have songs where I have to have a conversation with him before. Like, okay, so this is vulnerable for me, and I just need you to not comment on it. Let's record it, and we'll live with it for a while, and we can talk about it later.
A few weeks ago you wrote on Twitter that on your new album is a song that's quite danceable. And we heard, of course, snippets.
Yeah.
So we think it is It Took Me By Surprise.
Yes, it is.
Can you describe the song?
It's the song of when Ivan got his groove back. It's basically a song about, I was telling my mother and father-in-law about this. Basically, it's a song about how, I never say this though, so this is between us and them. This is about how Ivan basically, for the first time, got angry with me. He's not an angry person, and I thought it was so funny, because I've never seen his, don't tell him this.
No.
I've never seen his face be angry before, and it was very funny to me. But yeah, no, I took it seriously, and I wrote a song about how that took me by surprise.
Okay.
And then why is it so danceable?
Because it's funny to me. I needed it to be like, it has a chorus that's a little bit of a, no, it is, but it is. I don't know. We wanted to produce it in a fun way.
This next question is about...
He knows this though, by the way.
Then we don't have to cover up. The next question is about the attacks in Norway last July. In Oslo, I mean. Because, well, a little period before the attacks, you covered the song of Ole Paul with Heleen.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a cover, but after the attacks, it almost became a national anthem for Oslo and Norway.
It took on its own life, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't. People keep asking me about like it must feel good to be, and it's like that song took on its own life and it became something not about me, you know. So I don't really know how to feel. All I feel is I think as affected as everyone else in Norway. But when it comes to the song, it's almost like I've detached myself a little bit from it.
Okay. And can you tell the Dutch fans what the song is about? Because it's in...
Yeah, the song basically speaks about Norway, and all in all its glory, and the people, and it just is it's a song about our country. There's nothing it's nothing very, very concrete. It just talks about the mountains and the people who dream, and it's like but I think it's a song that worked in that situation. And I mean, a lot of people have done covers of it because it's like a commercial thing. But I think it worked because in the midst of everything and all the misery and all the sadness, we needed to feel, and we did feel, very connected together, and we felt very proud of our country. We felt like we handled it very well. And so I think that song kind of makes us feel that way.
That's a good explanation. It's almost time now, so we're going to the last question.
Yes. After releasing this album, you have 5 albums, and you're 25 and engaged and living together in Oslo. So what's next in the future?
I have a plan that I think the next record, and it might not, you never know what happens, will come faster than you think. And after that, I don't know, I just want to live a normal life and then continue to make music.
I really like that. Yeah.
Do you look forward is your next step touring through Europe?
Yes. And this time we are going on a tour in Norway that's more together than it ever has been. I'm very excited about that. We're also going to be here a lot more. The first couple of shows are one thing, but I think that we're going to continue to come over here. I'm also doing countries that I've never done before, which is extremely interesting, like Sweden and Denmark, I think, and Finland.